Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Capricorn. If Capricorn is your solar, lunar, ascendant/rising sign, then this is a message for you. Okay, let's get started. Okay, let's see what we have going on in these tea leaves tonight. Okay, I hope you all are doing well. Always excited to read for Capricorn. I do have an ascendant Capricorn placement myself, and also just really have kind of an attachment to kind of the Saturnine nature of Capricorn in general. Okay, so this week the card is the Two of Discs, and let's see if we can get this kind of, I think my light's a little close tonight. Related to change. Okay, so we have of course the beautiful Ouroboros biting its own tail, and in the figure 8 or infinity, the balance of above and below, the dualities, then the varied colors around, kind of a little hint at the spectrum that is beyond duality. And yeah, let's get going on this. Let's see what is happening here. Okay, so the first thing I kind of saw was, I saw a few things, but this is the one I wanted to talk about. We have the sheep here. And I think that, you know, this is just kind of, things are pretty good. Not necessarily most excellent, although I will say that I think that things are shifting into a very kind of fortunate, abundant zone. Okay, and we'll talk about that too. But I think that you have really been practicing mindfulness, keeping things kind of even-keeled, consistent, honoring your nature and your chosen routines, the important work that you have put yourself deeply into. And I think that you are really aligned in such a way that you will be reaping the benefits. Okay, we also have on this side, which is back to back with the sheep, we have a rabbit. Okay, and of course we're in the year of the rabbit. The rabbit is a sign of abundance and fertility, and you know, just kind of in deep vitality, motivation, quickness of mind and spirit. And I think all of these things are really coming together for you. There is almost a duality here, but I think you know, you kind of dwell in both places, and not so much that you kind of vacillate between the two, but I think in, you know, some ways you're very serene, thoughtful, you know, slow to deciding, But once your plan is in place, you really get at it and you're go, 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 make things happen. Now, I also see this person here who is kind of witnessing, looking up in this posture of, and I haven't talked about it in a while, but I have in other readings that when there is a person or an animal in these symbols with their head kind of gazing upwards, and almost their body is pretty in a pretty erect posture. Usually I see this and it makes me believe that there's a sense of awe, being awestruck. Something is very moving, really has caught the attention of the viewer, the witness, and it, you know, kind of really lost a sense of body and self, because something is so beautiful and divine. And so I really do think that in this process that is kind of the wheels are turning, right? There are moments where you are really taken aback. And I believe really that you are in a place of, okay. Sometimes we have little interruptions here and I have to kind of put these together. But anyways, you are in a place of being taken aback because you are really in your power and beginning to notice that you are manifesting things in your life. I think that, you know, it almost kind of like starts out with these small things. It seems like coincidences, but I feel that, you know, it's hard to ignore when everything is kind of, you know, coming up in your way. At least the things that you put your intention and time and effort into. I'm not saying every little thing that you wish for or think about is coming true, but I think where you are putting in the work and it is aligned with your will, these things are manifesting in your life, not just, you know, kind of ambiguously. But I do think that this is kind of building up to something larger in your life, something that will be life-changing for you. Will this be a new job, a new love, a new place that you call home? Or will you be moving, having a child? I think that it is something that is going to be rather large. Now, I think that this has to do with family to some degree. Maybe with a partner, spouse. I see two people, one here and one here, in an embrace. It almost looks like they're dancing, kind of. But I do think that this is a very loving, embrace, holding on to one another. And I think that, you know, this could be something that you would do as like a family unit, okay? Or meeting somebody, you know, and really coming into a deeper relationship with them, okay? And then beneath that, I see a person sitting at a desk, and it looks like they're probably writing. It almost even looks like there's and this will age me, I'm sure, but although I'm not so old, that people are sitting at desks with like, you know, a well of ink and a quill or whatever. But it is something, it is an image that I am aware of. So I didn't grow up just on telephones or cell phones or whatever. So anyhow, this looks like a person that is writing. This makes, I mean, this literally could be that you will be writing something. It would not surprise me for a Capricorn to be, you know, writing their memoirs or some beautiful, you know, book of poetry or, you know, novel. And so I think that through this kind of period of things really feeling so kind of magical, feeling very much as a magician, as an architect of your own world. I feel like this will transfer into creative endeavors as well. I think that these two things align with one another. I do feel that you feel moved to document your experiences. I think that they are very meaningful for you. And I don't know if it is so that you can share them with others or so that you may just kind of have a record of them. I don't think that it really matters either way, but I think that, you know, this could be something very important for you. It does come up in these formations, so it seems like something to consider. Okay. Now we also have this heart and a little dragon. It's a little tiny dragon. I do feel that at times you can be moved to having a short temper. Maybe with all this change and you know, things kind of being unsettled at points. And although it feels like a lot of these things are positive, something to look forward to, something to work on, something to kind of enjoy, being a part of, being in the middle of, being, you know, of these affairs, I also believe that it gives you some anxiety, and just kind of the unknowns really can put you into a place of being impatient, wanting to kind of see what, you know, how's this going to play out. You want all the information, the different details. You like to make informed decisions, you know, pretty I feel that, you know, most Capricorns in any of the major placements are people who are fairly, I always kind of try to stay away from saying conservative, but at least, what would the word be? Just very, very thoughtful and precise. Maybe tempered about, you know, their decision making, very realistic, almost overly, you know, kind of somebody who likes to kind of save money maybe, or you know, you just kind of aren't very frivolous in any part of your life. I think that when you go through a change, right, moving, getting married, having a child, retiring, whatever it is, these can be very expensive, very expensive parts of your life. And so I think that at times you can get a little edgy, a little testy, and so you know, just keep that in mind. You know, don't go getting snippy and ornery with people. These things are good. They're good. They're good. You want these changes. You're manifesting them. So let's see. What else do we have? This one I thought was pretty interesting. And my last reading, there's a little person with a like a little formation with a hat. So we have a person and with a hat, and it looks like they're beneath the sun. They also look like they're reaching out for, and if it's, let's see, there we go. It looks like they're reaching out for if it looks like a lowercase I, usually I'm saying that this is a candle, an illuminating candle. So some kind of illumination within their life, okay? And I think that this very much has to do with, you know, I just get the idea of being out because I wear a hat sometimes when I'm working outside to keep from burning my scalp or getting too hot. But this has to do with working and maybe gardening or working outdoors, whatever it is. But I do think through this work, and because, you know, I feel like this is almost emotional work because of where it's at. It's in this emotional psychic area. But I feel like it feels almost like you're doing like some kind of visual meditation or therapy where some kind of active imagination or dream work. And I do believe that it is very illuminating for you. It is shedding some light on things that I think are helping you kind of free up the kind of emotional bandwidth and mental space to really get into this place where you are making things happen within your life. Do the manifesting. Keep going back to that manifesting. But it's so important. I mean, listen, when you have a time in your life where things are just kind of, I mean, against all odds sometimes, they're really those prayers, appeals, magic workings, whatever it is that you're doing, and it's manifesting, and it's, you know, very apparent that the universe is kind of, you know, coming up in your favor. That is quite a feeling. And, you know, I think that you really, really, really have worked so hard. And probably, you know, when things are illuminated, we often have this idea that, like, oh, going into the light, or, you know, activating that kind of interior light in all these different sectors of being, that is, you know, this kind of blissful experience, or, you know, the awakening, or whatever is something that is so welcomed. And maybe it is to some degree, but it's also very difficult. It's like sometimes it's like turning on a light and a bunch of cockroaches scatter. It can be really freaky. It can be difficult to look at. It can be it can dismantle really, really fundamental parts of who you are. I mean, a lot, you know, there are so many people who really spiral when they start doing sacred work, magical work. And, you know, that's why, why I always kind of bring up therapy and being in, you know, in settings where there's like group support, or you know, talking about more of the mundane things, your self-mythologies, your traumas, doing, you know, a lot of mental health upkeep, okay, while you're also doing these other kinds of magical work, because it is so easy to get lost in all of that, and it can be really destabilizing. It can, you know, the internet has really kind of, I think in a lot of ways sped up the processes for a lot of people, but also made so much information readily available to people that I think there are so many instances where it's very overwhelming to individuals. And, you know, that's not to place a moral judgment on information, really. You know, I'm all about things being available to people. But I do know that there are people that struggle within the magic communities, within, you know, quote unquote conspiracy communities and these kinds of things. But you know, I feel like you are coming into deeper understandings. You're having this this experience where things, it feels very much, you're perceiving very much that you are having an influence on your reality and your experience of reality. And that can be so wonderful. Okay. And so empowering, really. And so, you know, I think it's just important to stay mindful. And, you know, when we have these signs of illumination, just being careful about how attached we become to what we perceive as being truth, right? Or not letting those things become dogma. Because when you have an unchanging understanding of something, it is very limiting. Okay. Okay, so I just also want to, I keep looking at this and I haven't mentioned it yet, but I see these eyes and I feel very much this is kind of that energy of the watcher. Okay. And so this is the universe. This is some kind of intelligence, some, you know, maybe a guardian angel or something like that. Very much looking over you, witnessing, you know, your work, your evolution. And I feel in some ways you having a conscious contact with this being or this aspect of self or this, you know, divine energy, whatever your personal relationship is to the divine. Okay. I also see this beautiful heart here and this person kind of jumping for joy. And I feel, you know, a lot of peace and love in your life as things are going forward. Okay. And I want to look at this one. And it's interesting because I'm looking at, as soon as I pick this up, I'm looking at this, it looks like the T, it's kind of the head and the body, and then there are all the pieces kind of floating around in it. It reminds me a lot of a dervish, which is a Sufi practitioner. And, you know, one of the practitioners of the higher love traditions, and very much outwardly kind of related to agape and the ecstasy of relationships with the divine, okay, with God, Allah, whatever, you know, your interpretation of that divine thing is. There is this beauty in forming a bond, a union with the interior beloved. And through these times when you feel very active in these higher spaces of consciousness, I think that these are good times to form those bonds more intentionally, okay? And so that can be through prayer, meditation, creating art, dream work, however you kind of relate to those higher places. For me, I like to go into dream work. I like to do visualization, active imagination. If you don't know what that is, you should definitely look it up. It's kind of a Jungian concept, and not too unlike meditation, but being able to create kind of spaces in your imagination to play out different scenarios, and also, you know, witness symbols and visual kind of representations of things from the unconscious, and then kind of decode some of that stuff. So I think that's our reading for the night here. And I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It's always such an honor to bring these messages to you. If you would be so kind as to like the video, it helps us get into the algorithm. We are doing so well building this channel together. Each one of you is such a blessing. I'm always so appreciative. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing so. You can hit the little bell. It will let you know when the next video is coming out. Yeah, other than that, if you want to leave a comment, I love hearing from you all. I read all of them, and a lot of them are so sweet and touching, and I appreciate that energy so much. Okay, I want to say thank you, and we will talk again in a few days.